welcome to the first episode of Speak Up, which is a new series that we are launching so that we can continue to interact with our community members like you all here much better. Feel free to throw as many questions as you want, whether it's in your comments in my Facebook channel, whether it's in terms of my social media platforms, be it Instagram, Facebook, or Snapchat. Keep the questions coming because I really want to hear from you and to be able to share with you more insights, share with you exactly how you can go about working your way, whether it's to become a better entrepreneur, whether it's to become a better speaker. So if you're ready, let's get the first question coming in. What's the first question?
Ken asks, being able to do public speaking confidently is something I've always wanted to achieve. Can you tell me some of the most crucial actions that you took in your early 20s that made you an expert public speaker today?
I think that's really a powerful question because you see, there's a lot of obsession right now with overnight success. There's a lot of obsession with, how to become a great speaker overnight in 24 hours, how to become a millionaire in 24 hours, how to become a successful entrepreneur in 24 hours. Now, I feel that overnight success is overrated. I feel that you don't become a champion speaker overnight. You become a champion speaker over time. And what were some of the specific actions that I took to help me over time become where I am today? To become a much more polished speaker who's able to deliver content to thousands and thousands of individuals. So here are 3 things for you to take note of. And the first thing is this: be very, very prepared to expose yourself to as many training courses as possible. I'm not talking just about the free ones, but I'm talking about those that requires payment and upfront investment as well. You see, when I first started out, all along is that mindset that I'm only going to go for upgrading courses if and only if it is free. I'm not willing to spend sum of money to invest in, say, my education. Anything that requires money, hey, I might as well use that sum of money elsewhere. But here's the thing. If some individuals have devised a powerful system, chances are they are going to create a course as part of their business. That's perfectly fine. It's not an issue at all. But if you have the lose mentality, that means if I were to go for this course, it's about losing a certain amount of money that I could use it elsewhere, then that's not going to get you very far. But rather, when I spoke with my mentors, they helped me change from the lose mentality to a win mentality, which means that what can I win out of investing this sum of money in that particular course, whether it's in public speaking, business, or entrepreneurship. Now, the second thing that actually helped me very much and what I took in my early 20s was to get great mentors. There's a famous saying that if you want to go far, then you travel as a group. If you want to go fast, you travel alone. But if you want to go both fast and far, then you get a great mentor, because a great mentor is going to help you hasten and accelerate your learning curve exponentially. So grab not just one, grab a few. Feel free to grab a few, one perhaps in business, one perhaps in speaking, the other one perhaps in interpersonal relationships. So grab great mentors and make sure it's not just the mentors choosing you, but you get to choose the mentors as well with your own set of criteria. The final tip I'd like to share with you, what I did in my early 20s was to clock in enough of mileage. Now, there's a famous saying that we are familiar with: practice makes perfect. But I think what is important here is not all practices make perfect. It is important to know that a well-calibrated practice truly makes perfect. And that means the quality of the practice, the kind of practice that we take, because not all practices are created equal. Think about it. If you would have a bad habit and you start clocking in the repetition, that's just going to make the bad habit sink in. It's not going to help you advance yourself in a positive and good way. So get the stage mileage, clock in the mileage, but make sure that as and when you do reflection, not just action, but you reflect upon your action and get those mentors to help you fine-tune those actions, further actions to be taken. I think that's a powerful question. So what do we have next?
Angel asks, I have a question to ask. How to buy yourself more time in an impromptu setting speech? When you are stuck, given an unknown topic you have never heard of. Thank you.
Now, I think this particular question is a question that's not just relevant for students, but it's also a question that's relevant for individuals who are in business, working professionals. Why? Because think about it. Almost every single day, we are faced with impromptu situations. For example, it could be a Q&A. For example, it could be an interpersonal communication with families, with friends, with colleagues, with our bosses. Whenever we are put or placed in an impromptu speaking situation, most of the time we are quite concerned about not having to create the right answer and to be able to share with the audience members. So here are 2 quick tips that can help you buy more time, that allow you to be able to speak and respond with panache. The first technique is, in fact, you can seek clarifications. Meaning to say, most people think that the moment a question is posed to you, you take that particular question and you're forced to answer the question in its own terms. But what is important to note is sometimes the question that's given to you, the factual matrix, is not quite complete. So what this means is you can in fact seek clarifications, ask about what were the underlying assumptions that were drawn, ask about certain facts that were not provided. That would help you buy more time and also allow you to better appreciate the entire situation in its entirety. The next tip is perhaps you can try also the good old school restating the question. But remember, when you restate the question, it's not just mere parroting. You could say something like, if I understood you correctly, you were trying to ask about A, B, and C. Now, in so doing, it is more of paraphrasing, at the same time seeking clarifications from the other party, buying you more time to be able to answer that effectively. If you have not already seen some of my videos that touched on impromptu speaking, here's one quick tip for you. In order to answer an impromptu topic effectively, you need to use what we call the interrogative pronoun approach. What are your interrogative pronouns? There are 5 W and 1 H. Your who, what, when, where, why, and then your H stands for how. The moment you ask your brain, you ask your mind the right question, ask and you shall receive. Because many a times when people get stuck, the mind goes blank, they start asking questions like, oh, what do I do? Oh my goodness, the audience members, are they going to hate me? That's not the right questions to ask. The right questions to ask is perhaps, oh, for this topic, what are the other alternatives? How do I go about implementing this? Who should be the one implementing it? And when should we implement that? So the moment you ask the question with any one of the interrogative pronouns, you would be able to have your brain tune in to provide you with the best answer possible. What do we have next?
Saifullah says, basically, humor works well for me to seek the attention of the audiences, but for the older audience members, it doesn't work all the time because sometimes they think that joking is disrespectful. So what should I do in this case?
Now, this question has got to do with humor creation. You see, humor, take note, is cultural specific. What it means is we cannot simply blindside the cultural dimension to whether it tickles your audience members or whether it puts them off, makes it very offensive for them. Many a times there's this bit of concern. Should I use humor before audience members who are older? Should I use humor before audience members that are not of the same nationality? Should I use humor before audience members who don't share the same culture as I do? Now the key thing is this. The safest form of humor for you to use if you are trying it out for the first time, speaking on stage, not exactly sure, then you can use what we call self-deprecating humor. Now I repeat, self-deprecating humor. What it means is you're making fun of yourself. Now here are 2 advantages when you make fun of yourself. The first advantage is when you make fun of yourself, it helps to bring the defensive shields of your audience members down. They feel that they're not being targeted. It is easier for them to commit to laughing and appreciating the situation where you are the main subject matter as compared to them being made the subject matter of your humor. That's the first advantage. The second advantage is the moment you use self-deprecating humor, it's very hard for an individual to doubt the veracity, to question your humor, your feelings, reactions to that particular situation, because that is yours. And that's the power of using self-deprecating humor. What is the one litmus test that you can use? I'm going to leave you with this. What is the one litmus test that you can use to ensure that the humor used is not offensive for that particular audience? That is, if you test it out before the audience members of a similar demographic, whether it's similar in terms of culture, similar in terms of age, you have to test it out. There's no one particular trainer who's able to tell you this works for sure. Sure, we can go to our repertoire of knowledge, our repertoire of experiences, but we can only go so far as to inform you on that. Based on this question, we don't have much information to proceed as to, say, the audience members' cultural dimensions, the perspectives, the background, so on and so forth, just merely on age. Use self-deprecating humor, that'd be very, very useful. So I hope you have enjoyed this particular episode to our series on a speaker is going to be very, very useful for not just you watching, but also for subsequent viewers who are watching this video to learn more from your collective questions and to learn more from the responses that I provide. So please keep this coming, keep more questions coming, send more questions. You can like this video, comment on this video, share it with others, share it with someone whom you feel would benefit greatly from. You can also share more of your questions on any of my social media platforms. My team and I will be able to collate those questions and to be able to give you more value. Hope to see you soon.